this felt like Scott Woodward completing his infinity gauntlet in a lot of ways, right? When he took over as AD, what's the old sayings on ADs, right? I mean, they always want to have their guy, right? Your resume, your reputation, your career will be viewed through the lens of who you hired and the success that they had or the lack thereof. And if you inherit a great coach, great. Keep rolling with him, right? You inherit Nick Saban, hell yeah. That'll reflect, that'll look great on you. You give him what he wants, blah, blah. He did not inherit that. And although Coach Wade was very good, this was the perfect opportunity for him to make his final move here, as Scott Woodward has now snapped Nicky Fargas, Coach O, Coach Maneri, and now General Wade, who has been quickly forgotten. And he has replaced them with very good hires, quite frankly, so far. Kim Mulkey been fantastic. I know people are panicking on Jay Johnson, which is LSU baseball tradition, but long-term still love. You think what Jay Johnson's bringing to the table. Obviously, Brian Kelly is a tier 1 hire, though we still have to let that play out as well. And now, a hire in Matt McMahon. We mentioned in hour 1, Jake, and I think you hit the nail on the head. We'll get into all of his numbers and everything else, but the bottom line, there was a market for Matt McMahon. There are a lot of open coaching positions right now, and a lot of people wanted to hire Matt McMahon. We were talking about hiring Andy Kennedy, right? I mean, that's where the head was at for what you were going to be able to get. And now you get a guy that a lot of people want at a time when you probably got potentially severe, I don't want to overinflate things, but potentially severe penalties coming down the line. This feels right now, in the context of where you're at, like another winning hire potentially from Scott Woodward.
It does for me as well. I didn't think you'd be able to get a coach with this type of resume. I thought you'd have to go with someone who had been fired from somewhere and had to go try to, revive his career, and, like an Andy Kennedy. And I think Andy Kennedy is a good coach, but that's kind of the type that you were looking at. Or you're going to have to really get somebody that you were just banking on maybe they could have some potential. A smaller school didn't make the NCAA tournament, but they had a lot of wins, and maybe they were at a Belmont or something. But you go get somebody that not only made the NCAA tournament, but won games in the NCAA tournament. And when I started to talk to people yesterday around the basketball world, they said he's got a real eye for talent. Like guys like Ja Morant, who are at least highly under-recruited, like that's somebody that he sought out. He saw something in him.
He saw him in a 3-on-3 game. I can't remember what was the setting, but yeah, it was a 3-on-3 game. He sees his kid dominating, and now that kid's taking over the NFL.
He was in the NBA.
Oh, wow.
He was.
It's like, what is it, LSU women's baseball team in hour 1? Yeah. Okay. We're zeroing in.
We're zeroing in.
Yeah, we're getting there.
He was an assistant when Cameron Payne, a longtime NBA player, was at Murray State, and he was a big reason why he was there. So I like that. And the first chance we get to interview him, I'm going to ask him that question. Like, are you going to kind of try to continue to find those diamonds in the rough? Is your recruiting strategy going to change now that you're at a place like LSU in the SEC? Because he obviously has an eye for talent. When he sees something, he's been able to get him to Murray State. And, I mean, we could throw the record out there, 154-67. That's a 750 winning percentage. Will Wade, when he came to LSU, 91-45. And we were all excited about Coach Wade, obviously, and he was 670 winning percentage. And so, obviously, and McMahon's like 7 years compared to, I think Will was maybe 4 or 5 years as a head coach when he came to LSU. And we all know, look, regardless of what you think, Will did great things here for LSU basketball and kind of got some excitement back into the program. So this is someone I didn't think you'd be able to go get. Florida, I know, and their fan base really wanted him to be their next head coach. South Carolina certainly wanted him to be the next head coach. I mean, it went down to the 11th hour, and South Carolina was trying everything they could. Missouri wanted him to be the head coach. So all these SEC schools that had these openings wanted McMahon to be their head coach, and LSU, even with a very uncertain future, was able to get him to Baton Rouge.
Yeah, so we don't have the contract details yet. One would imagine they are very coach-friendly, both monetarily and probably in terms of like protection against the NCAA. And that's not to take away from the job that Scott Woodward does, because what's one of the main parts about being an AD? It is raising money, right? Getting people to help pay for elite talent so that you can try to be good. Sports Fan 79 says, whoa, wait. Y'all are really hyping this McMahon guy. LMFAO, wow. Again, this is not to say that he is going
sports fan's
to
an
be,
Auburn fan.
No, I know.
So,
and he's dealing with his own
we love him in
basketball
chat.
disappointment.
He's probably going through some things right now.
Yeah. Still a good. Okay, Auburn though, like LSU women's basketball, don't cry because it's over. Smile because it happened. It was a very good year for Auburn basketball, even with the disappointment of the tournament. It's not that McMahon is going to be Bruce Pearl or Calipari, any of these guys. It's just that he's a way better hire than we had our expectations set on. Like that is the bottom line. You thought you were going to be treading water. Again, I feel bad because Andy Kinney's a good guy and a solid coach, but that just felt like that. It's just like blah, just like meh, just nothing really.
It would almost be like a placeholder.
Yeah.
For the next coach.
It
when this one feels
eating,
like somebody's going to be there.
Yeah, like it just feels like eating like a bad cafeteria burger.
Yeah. And I don't know what you can keep. I don't know if you can keep some of the current team right now, but this gives you a much better chance to do so when you hire a coach like this. Now, we know the future is uncertain, but still you might be able to convince some of the players. I'm not saying some of the top guys, not saying all of them by any means, but maybe you can keep some of the players because they see that you're still committed to basketball. You go hire a coach like this, and reports are you gave him a 7-year deal. Like I hadn't confirmed that.
I mean, that would
we'll see that, but that obviously that would make sense because of the uncertain future. But not only what players can he keep from LSU, but you start to look at Murray State's roster. Now I understand that they want to play postseason basketball. They've done that since they've been at Murray State. That's what they're used to. But do any of the players at Murray State want to come play in the SEC? Because even if you're not postseason eligible, you're still playing against Kentucky and Tennessee and Florida, and you're playing on national TV, right? Yeah. If you want to prove to NBA scouts that you can do it at a high level for a full season, well, you get to come play in the SEC. There's a couple of players that I was looking at Murray State's roster, trying to think maybe would he bring them. KJ Williams is a junior this year, 18-8 guy from Cleveland, Mississippi. Okay, Tevin Brown, 16-5 guy from Fairhope, Alabama. Justice Hill, 13 points, 2 rebounds, 5 assists from Little Rock, Arkansas. All these players are juniors. And then DJ Burns is from New Orleans. He's from down the street, averaged 5.6 rebounds a game. He's a sophomore, 6'7" forward. So, just a couple of guys you're looking at. Okay, do those players want to maybe come to LSU? Because as we've seen, like Lincoln Riley's taking players, BK brought a punter down here. I mean, when these coaches leave, and now with the transfer portal, I mean, look at Florida's roster. They got like 73 Raging Cajuns, it seems like, with Billy Napier down there. That's what's going to happen. You're going to take some of your guys that you have a great relationship with, and you're going to bring them. Look at Jay Johnson with Jacob Berry, right? And Cooper. I mean, so you're going to have it happen. And can you get those guys with what the future looks like? That's the biggest question mark. But I still think you can sell, hey, you were at Murray State, you made the tournament, you went undefeated in conference play. You're on NBA radars, but they want to see you prove it in a league like the SEC for a full year.
Yeah, so let's go through his resume again real quick because we touched on it. So I have just the numbers from the last 5 years, and in those 5 years, 121-36, 7-11 winning percentage there, which is incredible. 3 tourney appearances in those 5 years. Ohio Valley Conference champions 3 years in a row. 44 years old. Now he's coming off a stellar season this year, 31-3. 18-0 in the Ohio Valley Conference. Obviously, they make the second round of the NCAA tourney. He was Ohio Valley Conference Coach of the Year. We mentioned him coaching John Morant. These are all things that you would think translate well to the next level. And let's also be very clear about this. A lot of this was an image cleanup for LSU. Here's a direct quote from Scott Woodward. I had 2. It looks like the second one is kind of glitched out on me. Let me see if it's on the printed paper. But, quote, it was essential for us to hire a coach with a winning standard of performance, as well as the consistency and character to elevate our men's basketball program to new heights. He also went on to say, Matt is exactly what we were looking for. His vision for our program and his values as a leader align perfectly with ours as an institution. So, as you can see there, Jake, this is about a bit of a rebrand because the last 4 years, LSU basketball have been the bad boys of college basketball, right? I mean, think about Will Wade's name. His nickname was American Gangster. In the Scheme documentary, old boy, the main character of the Scheme, said he was like, yeah, Will Wade is a straight gangster. Like, they can't get that dude. He had like a Teflon Don sort of feeling. Dickie V and the other Blue Bloods all decrying LSU, 40, Thamel. So LSU has lived on the outlaw fringes. Woodward wants to clean it up and wants to bring it back kind of to the middle, to the wholesome where you're likable and everything else again. And Matt McMahon feels like, a hire that helps push you towards that potentially.
Yeah, 43 years old as well, so can be here for a very long time. You sign a contract like that, like you want to be here for a very long time. And this is someone that, got his opportunity to be a head coach at Murray State. And that's a program, man. And I think you know this following basketball. It's a program that expects to win. It's not like just one of those mid-majors that it's, we just want to make the tournament once every 10 years. I mean, that is a place where you have to win basketball games or you won't be the head coach there. I mean, Billy Kennedy goes from there to Texas A&M, and we can go back. I mean, UCLA's current head coach right now was at Murray State. I mean, it was a place where you start your career, you have to win basketball games to parlay it into the next big job. I mean, Mark Godfrey was there before he went to Alabama.
Yeah, it's like
got a long list of it.
It's like the last 5 or 6 coaches have all gotten big upgrades, and they've gone on to do
Steve Prohm went to Iowa State. I mean, it's
Now, and Prohm, just ended at Iowa State.
Yeah, he had one bad year,
bad fashion.
Yeah,
and but hey. You got to give LSU was not in a position to hire any name. You were always going to be giving somebody a chance. This is still a way better name than you would have thought. And he must like that contract he got because he's laying it on a little thick. Here's the comment that Matt McMahon had to say about being hired. Quote, "I'm excited to join the best athletic department and the most iconic brand in all of college sports. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for me, and I cannot wait to get to work." So he is all in on the Purple Gold. Here's a question. Citizens Bank and Trust poll question of the day. And I need to go back and check credit. It was John Solo. Did Will Wade leave the LSU basketball program in a better spot than when he found it? Fascinating question for a lot of reasons. We don't have to answer now. We've gone long. Let's go to break. Do a little quick OTB mailbag. Then we got Coach Mulkey coming up, but I want everybody to kind of ruminate on that a bit. And then put it up in the poll, and we'll see what people say. Keep it locked right here on Off the Bench.